My hair. It's in a box. Tried to do something nice with my hair today, but it decided it wants to be in the box today. So we're just gonna go with the box look. You know, that's what happens when you work for so long and your hair just gets all like sweaty and wet, and it just like frizzes up and becomes a box. Because I didn't feel like putting any conditioner on it before I did this video. Because you know, right after this video, I'm probably going to finish up my homework and go to sleep. So whatever. Hey, what's up, you guys? It is Tyler. Welcome to the Tyler Williams channel, and welcome to a third review for season 6 of American Horror Story, Roanoke. We are now on chapter 3 of American Horror Story, and things seem to be getting very interesting, I should say. It was a pretty good episode. I feel like this season so far has been most interesting. Like I said in the previous episodes, they have brought the horror back to American Horror Story. They've brought the horror back to American Horror Story. I feel like in past seasons it's been less about horror and more about the sex and the story. I mean, I guess it should be about the story, but you guys get what I mean. It's been less about the horror and more about other things. And this season has been quite a lot. I'm not one for horror. I'm not one for lots of horror movies and horror TV shows. And even though I like my favorite shows are The Walking Dead, American Horror Story, and Bates Motel, I'm still not one for horror movies. But I can watch this. I can tolerate it because the jump scares are kept to a good degree. Because some movies it's too many jump scares for me to handle. Like I'm not trying to have a heart attack. Then you got the other movies that are just like, it's not really a horror movie, it's a thriller. This is a fair amount, so I can actually tolerate a fair amount of jump scares. But this episode, we really didn't even get that many, so I was even more happy, because I'm not a big fan of jump scares. I'm, like I said, I'm not a horror movie fanatic, so you come at me with a jump scare, I'm like, my heart's like racing. I'm like, I don't want to watch this movie anymore. And let's get into the episode, because I know that's what you guys came for. Okay, so, Chapter 3. Interesting chapter. So, we left off from last week with Flora being lost, the daughter of Lee. She got lost in the forest looking for Priscilla or playing with Priscilla or something about Priscilla. So, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I want to be seeing that tomorrow. So, now, we have Lee, Shelby, and Martini. I think it's Martin or Matt. It's Matt. Why did I say Martin? I keep on saying Martin for some reason. We have Matt, Shelby, and Lee looking for Flora, yelling out as much as they do. They then come across many. I gotta touch on this. There have been so many disemboweled pigs in this season that is just ridiculous. I mean, I got that's kind of the setting of it. It's like all like, I guess it has something to do with pigs, and they think everyone's a pig or something. But every time you turn around, it's a disembodied pig. It's crazy. So we get to them finding a disembodied pig, but with the torso of Flora's doll. And then you have like the pig head, arms, legs. And they're like, Flora's down this path somewhere. Then they come across another thing with a mixture of a disembodied kid and the head of the doll. So now we have all the pieces of the doll, but of course they weren't sitting there collecting it because it's there's pig blood on it now. It's not really going to do much of any good. They come across a house, which they inspect to see Flora's in there, and she's not in there. And then they come across a barn, which the house was pretty much near a barn. And they figured, hey, Flora's in here, because they see like something, some people, some kids doing something to a cow or pig or whatever it was. They walk up to the kids, and it's two boys, and they're like literally, I believe they're milking or they're sucking the milk out of either a cow or some animal. They were sucking something out of an animal, and they were very dirty and in their underwear. Look like they've been out in the wilderness for years. So they figured they could take him in for inspection, take him into like, I don't know, police, see if they know anything. And of course, the kids don't know any really English except for the one word, which I really can't remember. The word isn't really that relevant. At least now, the word's not really that relevant. So the kids are just like, disregarded. We don't really see the kids after that. So now we're back at we're still at the station. We see Lee's boyfriend, Lee's ex-husband gets there, you know, the father of Flora, he gets there, he's all angry, like, what are my goddamn kids, all this kind of stuff, and you know, questions are being answered. They finally get to the house, and Lee and her ex-husband are going at it because one, it's kind of Lee's fault because Lee kidnapped her daughter. I mean, here's the thing. Lee's husband has custody over Flora, and Lee is only allowed to see her on weekends, but I guess they're getting that adjusted that way Lee can't see her at all. So Lee decided to take her daughter so that way she could spend more time with her. But she took her on a date that she's not supposed to, which is technically kidnapping. So she kidnapped her own daughter and without the approval of Matt. So Matt really in this situation really has every reason to be angry at Lee because had she not kidnapped Flora, this whole situation would have never happened. So yes, it is Lee's fault. So he's yelling at Lee, and he then decides to push Lee, which I don't think it was really that necessary to push her. But hey, everyone reaches their limits. I mean, I guess if you're like struggling to find your daughter, and someone's like, "Well, I lost her. I'm sorry. First, I stole her from you, and then I lost her." So, you know, heat of the moment, he pushed her. Still don't prove it, but he pushed her in the heat of the moment. He left, and then I believe they not really much happened after that. They then came across to look for Flora. No. They called in, they were talking, and then in came, I believe they were talking to police about someone who could do the job. And then in comes this man. I didn't know if it was a man or a woman. I thought it was a transgender for a second. No offense to anyone who is transgender or anything. I thought it was. Then comes this guy, very short guy, gray hair. I believe his name is Cricket. We're all made to believe he's an imposter. He can't talk to the dead. But little did we know he can't talk to the dead because they go into a room. They on some Ouija board type of stuff. There wasn't a Ouija board out, but they were in some Ouija board type of stuff. Like, oh, let's all hold hands. If there's any spirits in this house, please speak to me now. All that type of stuff. And I'm just like, oh boy. So the ghost that does come forth is the ghost that is played by Kathy Bates' character. I don't remember her name, but I do remember her name is the Butcher. So the Butcher comes forth talking about how this is my house, this is my turf, and I will butcher anyone who comes near it because you know that's actually she actually owned not the house, but she owned the area before her people were wiped out, basically. So she's like, this is my area, and I have every right to protect it, all that kind of stuff. And she's doing all types of. Now, here's the thing: the ghost whisperer, can see her, but the others can't. So to everyone else, it's like, who are you? Who are you talking to? Like she's talking to the air. She's looking at the air, like you know, and everyone's like, she's a con artist. Like she's talking to the air, acting like she knows things. She probably got her information from the police. But little did we know, she actually is a ghost, and one of the candles in the room got chopped in half, and there's really no way you could chop a candle in half without some type of lever, or some type of knife, and there was no knife in the room, and it just got chopped straight in half. And then all the windows got broke. She was like, this is not your house anymore. And then the Butcher proceeded to break all the windows in the house. I'm like, ooh, he's getting angry. So now the windows are gone in that room, and the dude Matt is like, he's obviously still a con artist. There's probably some people outside who threw rocks at the windows at that certain time, and now we're hearing pro-towing, and they're like, yeah, someone outside yelling that. How do you explain the candle? I mean, it had to be like a really, really tiny rock that is aimed very, very precisely at that one spot of candle to split it down the middle like that. Like, there's really no way you can kind of plan that. So, that being said, they still believe she's a con artist, but Lee still holding out hope, you know, desperate for answers. She's like, all right, I want to do it, but then she drops the ball. She's like, I will help you find your daughter. For $25,000, you can do a cash or credit. I could take credit card if you want. Debit card, I got you. I got that Visa, that MasterCard. If you got the Amex, I got you. If you gotta do PayPal, it's gonna take a few days, but I got you. She didn't say all that, but she was like at $25,000. At first, I was taken aback. I was like, "What? $25,000 to help me find my daughter?" So. That's something. Okay, so desperate for her answer, she decides to see her the next morning because of something she whispered to Lee. Now, we didn't know exactly what she whispered to Lee the first time, but after the cameras rolling, we learned that she whispered something about Emily. And now we don't know who Emily is, but we finally breaking down crying. The person who is actually not the reenactment breaking down, crying, like, turn those cameras off, turn the cameras off, and all that kind of stuff. So now she finally explains that Emily was a daughter she had at a young age of 17, and how she lost her daughter basically by not paying enough attention to her. When she left her in her car, she came back and Emily was gone. So she has two daughters, and both of them are, and one is dead. She said Emily says hello, which means Emily died. So she said one daughter is dead. She says Emily says hello, and now her second daughter is missing. So you can see kind of like the mental distress she's going through right now. So anyone can really kind of understand the point she's at right now, the point of distress. Is he really a con artist? I mean, displayed from what we've seen, he's obviously not a con artist, but to everyone else and to the naked eye, obviously he is. Obviously he's doing all these things just to sway her because, you know, he knows nothing. He just wants your money, that $25,000, which could go towards many things. Buy a whole house for $25,000. You could buy a whole car for $25,000. You could buy a lot of cars. You could buy a few cars for $25,000. Not that I think about. But anyway, I've left the part out. Before they met the cricket, the ghost whisperer, they went to go look for Lee's ex-husband. And the police said, we found something. It's not your daughter, but we found something. And little know we found Lee's husband crucified on that Roanoke type cross, burned alive, straight up arson. I was like, boy, I mean, down to the red meat, black. I was like, oh boy, that does not look good. It was not a nice sight. Not a nice sight. So, after that, Lee finally goes in to see the Ghost Whisperer. The Ghost Whisperer is like, okay, I will do the deed. We're going to need to go a little bit more in depth because there's a lot more to the Croatoan than you think. Because now everyone's like, well, I know about the Croatoan. I heard lots and lots of stories about the Croatoan. And she's like, there's a lot more to Croatoan than you think. And then we see some backstory about the Butcher, the Kathy Bates character, and how she used to be the leader, but then no one really liked the leader, so they kind of like impeached her by putting a bear trap on her head and sending her out to the woods to die. So they sent her out to the. So they put a bear trap over her head. They sent her out to the woods, nearly trying to kill her without killing her. Basically, sent her out there to starve and die of dehydration. She then comes across a bower or whatever that's about to kill her, confesses her sins. She's like, okay, about to die. And then out of nowhere, you hear about the disembodied, very mutilated sounds of something dying. We starting to think it is the Butcher, but it's not the Butcher. It is the pig. Or the bower, or the bull, or whatever the hell was chasing her. I have no idea what was chasing her. And what was ripping her apart? It was some creature that Lady Gaga is portraying. So Lady Gaga is now in this. I'm like, yes, Gaga. But I don't know who she's portraying. She wasn't speaking English. She was like, yeah. She was like, leader or savior or something. She says something to those expect. I mean, she don't know a lot of English. She looks like I think she is like part animal or something, or she might be an actual animal. portraying it. I don't know exactly what her character portraying. Probably time skip. The butcher comes back to her place. She's like, I'm back, bitches. She didn't say all that, but she's like, I've been rejuvenated. And they're all questioning her, and she, without question, took her knife, cut this guy's neck. No, first she, the guy who took her place, she chopped, without asking questions, she chopped his head, like, right down the middle. He died. Someone questioned her, cut his neck in half, cut the other guy's neck in half. And then she went to her, I don't know if it was her son or her friend, and she's looking at him. The dude got on one knee, and he's like, all right, I surrender to you. And now my camera's out of focus, but whatever. She's like, all right, I surrender. So then we know the backstory about the butcher. We don't really see much of a butcher after that. We then see, oh, now it's back in focus. Nice. We then go. I might be forgetting a little bit here, but I didn't write it down in the notes, so I'm just trying. Then towards the ending, we then get to the, let's go back looking for Flora again, because why not? They go back searching for Flora, only to find that there's no signs of Flora. Well, the dude says they have to go looking for Priscilla. So they all go with the dude. They go to the forest. And now he's complying with the butcher. He's like, all right, I'll make a deal. If you talk to Priscilla and tell Priscilla to surrender over Flora, you can have the whole land. You won't need to worry about the house because we'll burn it down. And then on top of that, Shelby's like, well, I don't remember anyone talking to me about burning the house down. Because Lee's like, well, Matt agreed to burn the house down with me. And she's like, I didn't hear anything about Matt burning the house down. They look to the side. There's no Matt. They look for Matt. And Matt is out in the woods now. He's somewhere in the woods. First, we see shots of two guys jerking off. And I'm like, of course, they can go one. Because up to this point, there was no sex scene in the show. And I was astonished. I was like, how? This can't be true. There's no way they can go a single episode without a sex scene, let alone like 30 minutes or 15 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes. I just feel so irritated. This can't be real. But needless to say, it wasn't real because in the next few seconds, we saw two dudes jerking off. I'm like, all right, it isn't sex. Jerking off, but it isn't sex. So I'm going to disqualify it. Then we see the shot of Shelby looking at naked Matt plowing Lady Gaga's character. I'm like, yeah, there's a sex scene, of course. Having sex with some woman. So Shelby runs off. Of course, Matt's like, I don't remember any of this happening. Lee said she like tried to talk to Matt, but Matt's like, I don't remember this happening. Something must have came over me. I don't know. I don't understand. And then, so Shelby goes to check on, Matt goes to check on Shelby because the police are outside now after Matt comes to his senses. Police are now outside. Matt's like, what's going on here? She goes to check on Shelby. Shelby pushes him away. And she's like, who is that woman? Why were you saying this? And Matt's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So then we see the police car. We see Lee calling out for Matt. And Lee's under arrest. And then we end the show with Matt turning to Shelby like, what's going on here? And then Shelby's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, that. I'm like, women are, I can't believe women don't like that. Like, that's petty ass. Whew. She did not have to do that. I understand she was angry, but she did not have to snitch on Lee like that. It was not even right. So now we got Flora lost in the woods somewhere. We got the ex-husbands burnt to death. And now we have Lee is going to be in jail. So that's all interesting. All the while, we have Shelby and Matt still living in the house. Somehow, I don't know why. I would have moved out by now. Still living in the house, still trying to investigate, still trying to find Flora, still trying to deal with the butcher and the ghost and the Croatoan. It's like, this is getting interesting. This is getting juicy. Can't wait till next week's episode. We saw a preview for it. Might have to do a reaction to it. I'm not entirely sure. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this episode. I've been pretty busy with homework and a bunch of stuff lately. As far as Western Kingdom goes, this Sunday. I may have to postpone it because there might be a few delays because I am kind of, I don't want to say backed up on homework, but kind of packed with my homework right now. So, gotta focus on the real deal, and if you know what I mean. Anyways, I love you guys. I will talk to you all later. Make sure you subscribe and like this video and share it. And comment down below what were your opinions on the episode. What are your opinions on this review? What did you think about this episode? What do you think? Do you think they're gonna find Flora? Where's Flora? Do you think they're gonna? How do you think Lee's gonna release from prison? Do you think Matt's gonna be allowed? Do you think Shelby's gonna apologize or something? Like, what is going to happen in the next episode? Tell me what you guys think about them below, because I'm reading the comments. And I will talk to you guys later. Peace out.